Hi everyone, this is Susan here, Center for Better Bones. Over the last year, I've had the opportunity to meet and become friends with an amazing woman, Miranda Esmonde-White.
I have the same honor to become friends with you.
And the reason I say she's amazing is because Miranda was a ballerina in the National Ballet of Canada, and she went on to develop a whole new form of exercise. A form of exercise that can build bone, it can build muscle, it can increase flexibility, it can prevent falls, in a very safe and comfortable fashion. Miranda's exercise program is called Eccentric Exercises, and she's developed a whole system of classical stretch.
Right.
In fact, you might have seen Miranda on TV. She's been on public TV for 17 years.
Right. In classical stretch.
In classical stretch. And these are the DVDs of many. This DVD, for example, has 30 different series of 20-minute segments.
Right.
This is what I personally do, and I want Miranda to tell us why all of you should do it, how classical stretch, how stretching the muscles can help build bone. So Miranda, welcome, and tell us, what can we do with bone with stretch?
Well, thanks so much for asking me and for having me here. First of all, one of the things about as the bones become prone to osteoporosis, they're losing their matrix, which is like a honeycomb inside the bone.
Right.
So we want to rebuild it. So anytime you stress something, then it has to fight against you.
Exactly. Okay.
So as we're exercising, we're doing this elongation of the muscles. Okay. So imagine that you're reaching into a high cupboard.
Okay. Okay.
Your muscles are not compacting. The muscles are lengthening out.
So you're actually stretching
so
as high as you can stretch. Okay.
And then you take out a heavy bag, a heavy suitcase, and your muscles have to contract in this long position.
Right.
And that's called an eccentric contraction.
Okay.
So they're strengthening as the blood is flowing through, and then you're lengthening it. You're relieving the pressure on your joints. Okay, so this gives you
a little pressure on the bones, but no pressure on the joints.
Yeah, so this gives you a lot of powerful flexibility, and it takes out all the pressure on the joint. Now, as you're doing this, every time you move your muscles have do this natural movement like this.
Right.
So you stretch it out and the muscle returns.
Right.
Stretch it out and the muscle returns. And this happens like thousands of times a second.
Right.
Like as you're moving your head up and down, the muscles in your head and they're doing this. That action is pumping the blood through the muscles. And we need to pump the blood.
Which brings nourishment.
And pump it into the bones.
Right.
So what we do then is we're moving in this program large movements, but very slowly, so you can go at your own pace, so that we're stressing the bones. We weigh something. Like if I were to lift you up, you're going to weigh something. You're not light as a feather.
Yeah. So we use our own body weight.
But we're using our own body weight. So as we're moving in these large movements, lengthening our muscles lets us move in a bigger movement.
I see.
So the size of the movement makes the heavier load on the bone.
Yes, and you have the tendons pulling on bone and creating almost a bending of bone, which stimulates new bone growth.
All that, and the forcing, the loading up of the whole chain of bones.
And the neatest thing is that these are gentle exercises.
Very gentle.
And as Miranda was telling me before, she began this when she finished her career in ballet because women were interested in exercises that didn't build bulk so much as built flexibility, made lean, long muscles.
Right.
And she's found out that this way they can help the body heal from many disorders, whether it's scoliosis, osteoporosis, arthritis, nourishing the joints, nourishing the bone.
And the movements are slow. So anyone can do them safely. You're not throwing yourself around. There is no impact, no jumping. So that anyone at any level, whether you're an Olympic athlete or in your 70s and 80s, you go at your own level because you don't have to rush. They're slow. And the irony is that the slowness is safe, but it also makes it more difficult. So there's more stress on the bones because it's harder.
And I was really surprised that I said stretching, how hard can that be? But it really was, it required a lot of focus and a lot of energy. And it certainly is. Every morning I do the exercises. It's a great challenge. And I feel much more flexible, much more expanded.
Because it's not flexibility as we know it. It's strengthening that ends up making the muscles flexible. It's not passive flexibility that everybody thinks about when they think about flexibility, which is really useless.
Yes. And what I would add is that whenever we have stiffness or we have tightness or aching, we really have a lack of energy, a lack of blood to that area, and a lack of intelligence.
Right,
And what we're doing
right.
is stimulating the flow of intelligence through the body.
Right.
So
Right.
Center for Better Bones really endorses classical stretch. We're so delighted to have Miranda here.
Thank you.
A simple way to do
I'm
is
thrilled that you're endorsing us.
to get her videos. We have this particular segment number 8. There are many segments. This has 30 different exercise sections. They're in the Better Bones store. You can get that. And if you want to learn the science of this, Miranda has a very popular book called Aging Backwards. 10 years, how does it go? 10 years younger, 10 years lighter, 30 minutes a day.
And it works. It really does.
And it works.
It's amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Miranda's worked
This
from
is a
everything
fan
from
mail about
Olympic
it, yeah.
trainees to
Yeah.
people who have had all kinds of health problems.
Right.
So I'm delighted to share this little bit of news with you that there's another kind of exercise, eccentric classical stretch exercise developed by Miranda, and we're delighted you took the time to talk with us.
Thank you.
And Miranda,
I'm
what's your
delighted
tip to
also.
the people?
I'd say do it every morning. They're
Do it every
22
morning.
minutes. Brush your teeth. It's not an hour. It's not even half an hour. We can do that. It's doable. And it's a commitment to your health, and you will feel so good afterwards. Don't you
I'd
feel
say anybody
good?
just
Yeah.
give it a week
Every
and
morning.
you'll be stuck.
Yeah.
A lot of fun talking with you. Stay in touch. Do your stretching. We'll talk later.